Hello, teacher, dear teacher. It's been an absolutely fabulously wonderful semester with you, and I think we've had a lot of fun. For our final assignment for the final research paper, I believe the task at hand is to deliver a presentation on the research paper, which we just turned in, including, of course, 5 citations, because college, I've learned this year, my first year at college, is very, very big on citations. Also PowerPoints, and one of the few things I'm beyond grateful to you forever for is the fact that you did not assign another PowerPoint for this presentation. Anyway, you've no doubt read my paper, you've no doubt loved my paper, because it was an absolutely fabulous piece on Henry VIII. I'll no doubt be receiving yet another A for it at any moment. But you've read it, you know it. It was wonderful, and do you really want a whole nother 3 to 4 minutes on good old Henry? I feel like I said everything I needed to say about Henry in my paper, and bless you, Murderface, bless you. I think I'd like to go outside the box, which I understand kind of sums up what I've been doing, what we've been doing together, what this journey we've been on for the entire semester. And you've been so far beyond patient with me, and I would beg you to indulge me just a few minutes more here on this final assignment. And I'd like to tell you about some of the things I'm reading now and some thoughts I have on writing that perhaps we'll do instead. And if I've offended, just think on this, and all is mended, that you but slumbered here while these visions did appear. This weak idle theme, no more yielding, but a dream, my teacher. Do not reprehend. If you'll pardon, I will mend, 'cause I am an honest puck, and if I'm lucky, I'm not going to fail my class. And I'll make amends ere long, else you call this puck a liar. So a good night to you. Give me your hand, if we be friends, and Robin shall restore amends, which is my first citation. Act 5, Scene 1, page 18, Midsummer Night's Dream by William Shakespeare. The purpose of writing is about telling stories. Writing is about describing the world as you see it. One of the greatest single writers in the world, one of the most brilliant writers living today, is Neil Gaiman. I would go ahead and pick up pretty much anything absolutely anything he's ever read. The man's brilliant and has never yet put pen to paper and come up with something bad. And I don't just say that because he's my best friend in the world, but because it's true. In American Gods, he says, one describes a tale best by telling the tale, you see? The way one describes a story to oneself or to the world is by telling the story. It's a balancing act, and it's a dream. The more accurate the map, the more it resembles the territory. The most accurate map possible would be the territory, and thus would be perfectly accurate and perfectly useless. The tale is the map that is the territory, and you must remember this. From American Gods and Citation 2. Books come in many forms, and stories come in many forms. A book I go back to time and time again because it's a wonderful book. I'm not a filmmaker. 84 Charing Cross Road by Helen Hanff. A charming classic tale first published in 1970, bringing together 20 years of correspondence between Helen Hanff, a freelance writer living in New York, and a used book dealer in London. Through the years, never meeting, separated both geographically and culturally, they share a winsome correspondence. And that was a citation from the back cover, but in case, for my purposes of my grade here this evening, in which my entire semester's work is no doubt being based on, let us open at random and read a little bit from Helene Hanff. I write to you from under the bed, that where the catalyst drove me. I mean, it passeth understanding. Will you tell Megan Wells she is out of her cotton-picking mind, and if she's that bored with civilization, why doesn't she just move to a Siberian salt mine? Apparently not a standalone quote, but I think you'd love the book. And I highly recommend it. I think that writing and words are like music in that you don't even always have to know the language. Take, for instance, Federico Garcia Lorca, one of my favorite poets, collected here in a book, as you can see, called Collected Poems. He says in there, vivimos en celdas de cristal en colmena de aire. Nos besamos a través de cristal. Maravillosa cárcel cuya puerta es la luna. Which is beautiful and translates roughly to, we live in crystal cells in a beehive made of air and kiss each other through the glass. Marvelous prison whose gateway is the moon. Words work. Words work no matter what language they're in. Another beautiful bit of poetry would be de ala hasta acá, de acá hasta ala. Hay cosas divertidas en cualquier lugar. Which works in any language because it is, in fact, Dr. Seuss. Un pez, dos peces, pez rojo, pez azul. And is every bit as beautiful poetry, which is perhaps stretching a point. But translated that one from here to there, from there to here, there are fun things everywhere. And there are fun things in every single story and every single book. Looking at this, I believe I'm supposed to have a clearly defined thesis statement. I think my thesis statement might be thinking outside the box. And I would say here at the end of my first year of college that one thing I've learned is that you need to think outside the box. You can think in the box, you can do the assignment, you can do the lessons, you can get your grades, but it isn't until you start learning, you start loving, and you start, excuse me, putting your own ideas down on paper, that great things happen. Charming. That was a tale, and that tale's ended. Our rebels now are ended. These are So there you have it. Our revels now are ended. These are actors, as I foretold you, were all spirits, and they are melted into air, into thin air. And like the basis fabric of this vision, the cloud-capped towers, the gorgeous palaces, the temples, the great globe itself, all of which inherit, they shall dissolve, and like this insubstantial pageant, faded, leaving not a rack behind. We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep. Not apparently for Murderface, though. Teacher, thank you. Thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed my research paper presentation on Henry VIII. And with that, I will say buenas noches y gracias por esta noche.